All right, how's it going, everybody? You're tuned into yet another Mountaintop podcast from X and Y Communications. My name is Scott McKay. I'm your host, and you can find me all over social media at Scott McKay on X, TikTok, on YouTube, and also on Truth Social, although I don't hang out there much, mostly all politics. And at Real Scott McKay on both Instagram and Threads, and I'm on record already saying Threads is a cesspool and stay out of it. Well, today we're going to talk about something where angels fear to tread, and I think most men are more scared of it than even the angels. But before we get to that, I also want to remind you guys that the Mountaintop Summit Facebook group is there for you. I hope you guys all join. We're having a great time. And also, if you haven't been to mountaintoppodcast.com lately, got bunches of new stuff there. You can download show notes, all kinds of cool things. With me today, as you can see, is a first-time guest, and her name is Ada Gore, and she's a guided journal coach and public speaker, and she's up in the beautiful Caldwell, Idaho country up there. That's God's country up there, especially this time of year. And today we're going to talk about what to me is a touchy subject, so thank goodness Ada is happy to talk about it glibly and at length and great detail. We're going to talk about navigating women's cycles. And I think the first thing we think of, Ada, is a woman's menstrual cycle. But before we even get into that subject, I want to welcome you to the show and say thank you for being willing to get on this show to begin with to talk to these guys about it. So yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a privilege. I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. You just had your fourth child.
Yeah.
Right? A daughter.
Yep.
So your hormones are raging even as we're talking about this.
A little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And, you're very easygoing. You seem like me. You seem like you're anti-fragile and unoffendable. If you have to be if you're from Idaho, right?
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
All the people who were offended left Idaho a long time ago and went back to California. Or Oregon, right?
Oregon, yeah.
It's very interesting that you said you used to work with dentists. You don't anymore because you have like these great teeth. I'm sure you traded out, you bare those teeth. When you have teeth like that, you get angry with them.
Yeah. Sometimes.
I'm sure you got lots of trade outs from nice dentists for working with them, and hence the perfect teeth, huh?
Maybe. I think, I haven't had a ton of dental work done, actually. I've been really fortunate with my teeth, thankfully.
Well, you stay out of fist fights and MMA and, works out with your teeth much better.
I do my best. Yeah, I try to stay out of fist fights.
And drink chamomile tea instead of coffee.
Oh,
that's another thing they say.
How about also coffee and chamomile tea? That's what I do.
Well, you're doing very well then for someone who's a coffee drinker.
Thank you.
Yes, you're quite welcome. So you just had your fourth child, little girl.
Yep.
Fourth time was a charm.
Yeah.
You were a boy mom until then. How's that?
Three boys. I love it. It's awesome, but I had no idea about having a girl.
You strike me as a boy mom.
Which is a good mom, thing. Yeah.
You're all woman all the time, but you can handle it.
I can handle it.
You're no shrinking violet anymore after all that.
That's right.
And tell us a little bit about what led you to want to focus on educating us as men. I mean, you're not coming at it from an arrogant perspective or a patriarchy perspective. You're a very nice lady and you like guys, obviously. You have lots of them in the house. But you really think that there's an understanding gap there. There's a knowledge gap. And if guys understood women better, maybe vice versa too, we would all get along better and have better relationships. So, I'm only assuming that having 4 male human beings in the house, and I don't know if your pets are male or not, we gauge that around here. We talk about who's got more by how, the pets. We count the pets and the boys versus girl debate, including hamsters and gerbils and, whatever lizard got caught last night and thrown in a plastic cup.
Yeah.
But did that all enter into it? It must have. But, you tell us about how you became passionate about this particular subject, Ada.
Okay. So, yes, we do count our animals, and I'm proud to say that we got 15 new laying chickens that are all women. So
free eggs. You couldn't care less about the price of eggs.
We officially have more girls than boys, which was not true for a long time. And our cat's a girl and our dog's a girl. So I
Wow.
feel like we've started to even things out a little bit, but how I got into this. So my husband and I met in our late 30s. We were both 37, and I had, some issues with my own cycle. I just was really not aware of it. Even as a woman, I really was not aware of how it worked. I mean, I knew to track it and all that kind of stuff, but it's not a pretty subject, I would say, and not something that a lot of people really talk about. And we
Right.
were like 3 months into our relationship, and my husband was raised by a single dad. Okay, so his mom passed when he was young, and he just didn't really have any women in his life. And so now he's in a relationship with a woman who's like all woman. And we have this one of those, terrible fights of a new relationship. And I remember him looking at me, and he's just like kind of got that like deer in the headlights look of like,
Like a
I
Barney
don't,
Fife,
who,
like a
who are you when you get so, I've never seen someone get so mad. Like he looked at me dead serious. Like, you're like a stranger. And, and I was like, what? So that was a big part of this, is like, I need to help him understand what PMS is. Just like
Mhm.
help him understand what that is and how to navigate that. And so I started reading all these different books for myself and for my relationship. And I stumbled across this framework called the 4 inner seasons. And it just made so much sense to me. It's so easy to understand instead of all this talk about estrogen and, that I don't have any connection to those words. And I don't think a lot of people do, where it's like, I understand it, but I'm not like, oh yes, estrogen is high. That means this. Oh, estrogen is low. Oh, that means this. It's not, I guess, common sense how hormones work. But the 4 inner seasons, can I just dive into it really quick and explain it?
Well, I'm guessing, first of all, that when you're talking about the 4 inner seasons, these can all fly by within a space of 20 minutes. You don't have to wait for an entire year to see all four of these, right?
I mean, it depends. So the four, basically, usually the menstrual cycle is 4 weeks long. It's a month.
for sure.
And
Now,
so
that
you
much I
have,
understand, even though I'm a dude,
hey,
right? Maybe it's by force majeure, and, I can always count on when I'm not going to get any by, the calendar.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And you can count on when you are going to get some. So
Although there are some brave
it's,
women out there who aren't afraid of
that's,
powering right
well,
through it.
and it's really, yeah, because it's really individualized what your
Yes,
experience is. And
sure.
I think a lot of that has to do with understanding where you're at in your cycle and what to do, what's appropriate to do. So, week one is when you're actually on your period, and that's
Uh-huh.
winter. And it's
Boy, is it
winter.
ever. Yeah,
It's
especially in
right.
Idaho.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cold. It's cold.
Floridian women or, Arizonan women, probably the nicest time of the month. You can probably flip,
Right.
the
You
metaphor.
flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it's winter, which means, lots of rest, not a lot of energy, not very outgoing, needing some chocolate snacks and more naps.
And
Like, it's
iron
winter time.
supplements. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then, just like winter, you go into spring and everything kicks back online. So that's
Right
when you start
afterwards.
to, right afterwards,
Yeah. Okay.
it all starts kicking back online and heading up. And that's the hormones, estrogen, progesterone. They start kicking back up. And it's spring, and your lips are fuller, and your boobs are fuller, and you look good, and you're
And your
happy
dude
and
can blow his
bubbly.
load and you won't get pregnant and all
Oh,
kinds of
yeah.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, that's a little,
That's
so
that's individualized too. Yeah, that's
sperm
not.
can live a long time inside.
Yeah, it depends. Maybe
So
we
you need,
guys have our own seasons we go through as well.
yeah.
But for
Well,
sure,
that's very true. Yeah.
I believe in that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so men have this whole thing on a 24 hours. So ours is 28 days, and men do this 24 hours. Every 24 hours, you have the same thing. Your testosterone is high in the morning. That's your spring. It continues to go high, and then it levels out through kind of the middle part of the day. That's your summer. And then it starts to decline around 2 or 3 o'clock, and you
Then
kind of
we
want a
start pushing back
siesta.
some beers and Maker's Mark, and it's through
It's
the floor. Winter,
fall.
baby.
You're
Yeah.
headed into
Yeah.
winter, and
Yeah.
it's
We
time to
literally
hibernate.
fall.
Yeah.
During autumn, we fall. Yeah, mostly because we're drunk.
Okay.
Winter, we just sleep
Be
through
careful
that like
out
a
there,
bear.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, winter, we
Yeah.
sleep through winter like a bear. We hibernate.
Well,
Yeah. Makes
most of us
sense.
women want to too.
Well,
So
you
yeah, so
can't. You
then
got
it's
4
spring.
kids.
I never
Yeah.
sleep. That's
Yeah.
not, I guess I'll do that someday when I'm dead. But so spring, then you head into
Someday
summer.
when they come with the grandchildren.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you
That's
could just
true.
take a
And
nap
then
whenever you want. The parents have to pay for them and change the diapers. You just get to
and
bounce them on
I
your
can
knee
just
and
send them back and be like,
give them
wow,
junk
this
food when
must
the
be
parents
really
aren't
hard for
looking.
you
Yeah,
guys.
wonderful. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that myself someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm
Anyway,
really
okay,
in the
so
thick of it right now. Okay, so spring. Then you head into summer. And summer is prolonged energy, strong, focused, but you ovulate, which is when you can get pregnant, right?
oh
At the
yeah.
change from spring to summer. So that's when libido's really high.
Yeah, God's dirty little trick is that's also when you're your horniest.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So that's when it's like, but this is the way I think of it. So there's the 4 seasons, the winter of your period, then spring that rolls you into ovulating and summer, and then you go into fall. And fall is what we would call PMS. Each of these seasons also has like an archetype of a woman that you can think of. So winter is the crone or the old woman. Spring
I don't
is
want
the
to think
maiden.
about that. Okay.
Spring is the maiden. She's young and cute and flirtatious and full of life and bubbly, and you can just dance with her all night long. Summer
I'm getting
is
to the
the
age
queen.
where I could think some winter women are more still like the spring ones, The
That's
older
true.
they get, the young and cuter they look to me, the older I get.
That's good. That's really healthy.
But enough
That's
about
good.
me. Go ahead.
Okay, and then summertime is the queen, and you can think of this like this. So, the queen, she sits on her throne, but she can also give you an heir. So that's when you can get pregnant between spring and summer. And then you go into fall, and the archetype for fall is the wild woman who's out, in the woods, barefoot, running around, kind of crazy. Because that's when all of those hormones tank. They start to decline really rapidly. And all of a sudden, all the bubbly, all the energy, all the wanting to be social and flirty, it goes away.
And this is PMS time.
PMS time.
Okay. So what is PMS?
Premenstrual syndrome. So basically, so these guys, for our listeners, you're out in the dating world.
These guys.
Hey guys.
That's what the lady who's PMSing would call them. These guys.
These guys. So yeah.
You people. Yeah.
So really what it is, so when handled correctly, and this is another reason why I'm so passionate about educating men in particular about this. When you understand her cycle correctly, you can use it to make your relationship better, but your own life too. You can really harness. It's actually very powerful. It's a powerful cycle if you understand it and aren't living opposed to it. The problem is we all kind of assume that we're all working on that solar calendar like a man is, but women just aren't.
Well, it's starting to sound to me like if we're working on a 24-day calendar or 24-hour calendar, wishful thinking, and women are on a 28-day calendar, then this is about as likely as a broken clock being right twice a day.
Kind of. I mean, if you use it correctly, PMS, that's when my husband was like, you're like a stranger, because it can feel like, where's the maiden that was like hot to trot all night and like wanted to go out and thought I was so hot and was always feeling my muscles and like, where'd she go? Because this woman's just mad at me about everything. And she's like, she's tired and like she's a stranger. And it can really feel like that. And so educating yourself around your woman's cycle to understand, like, the number one thing you can do is understand this is not personal. She feels this about everyone in her life because she's not in her spring. She's not in her summer. She's in her fall. All the leaves are coming off. Everything it's starting to get cold. She's running out of energy because she's about to bleed and go into wintertime. And so the best thing that I can do, the best thing, men, if you are experiencing this or you're dating a woman and all of a sudden she kind of like seems kind of cold, or you go on a date and you didn't feel like the fire was there, whatever. Number one, don't take it personally at all, because it's not about you. Number two, this is the time. This is the time to stand in your manhood. Because if you can really embody like this really cool, different creature woman here in front of me is totally reactive and out of energy and kind of wild.
You mean cool in the literal sense?
Yeah.
Like she's kind of, all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray.
Bristly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
She's bristly. Okay. Like, last week we were joking about this, and then I dropped that same joke this week, and she's like, "Excuse me?" You're like,
"Don't you ever talk to me like that again. At least not till next week."
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week we'll laugh about it again, and you'll think, "Who the hell is this person? Like, why is she so up and down?" It's because she's in their fall and winter. So if you can hold that space and like, don't get reactive, don't get hurt, just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, babe." Just brush it off. Listen to her and brush it off. Don't become reactive, because here's the problem. When she's in her fall and her winter, and you're a married man, you understand this. I've
been married to both a crazy woman and a sane woman.
Okay.
So I know the difference even between that and
right.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
So when she's in that season and she's really reactive, if you take it personally and you react, now nobody's going to be able to hold their own, because it will just spiral out of control, because she can go bigger than you can emotionally. So if you get emotional in that time and you don't pay attention, then this is when you're going to have your meltdowns. This is when you're going to have the huge fights. This is when you're going to be like, "Who is this person? Why isn't this fun anymore?"
One of your suggested questions here was, what's the biggest mistake men make with their partner when she's in her inner fall or winter, and what should you do instead? So is that what you just described, or is there more to that story?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's so you're going to have to, if you
wait it out. We're going to have to be riders on the storm here.
Exactly. And if
keeping
you can,
up the music references. Yeah. Go ahead.
I like it.
We got late 60s medley going on here with the Mamas and the Papas and
that's
the Doors.
Best.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's the best.
Let's keep it up. Let's 70s, come up with some more.
Yeah. We can roll. Okay. So if you can, the best thing that you can do.
How are we going to take care of business here, Ada?
Every day.
A little BTO action, yeah.
We can go pretty far with the musical references, but
I'm here.
I'll lose my train. I've got like postpartum brain, so I'll just like go completely gone. But what to do instead? If you think
don't
of
lose
it
your
like
train
this,
of thought. Make it a long train running.
Okay, and then cue the train in the background.
Oh yeah, that's right. You actually have a real train that may happen.
Yeah,
God, that would be awesome if it just came right now.
Wouldn't that be amazing if that happened right then?
Right, with the Doobies Brothers reference. I could just, down around the corner. Yeah, it's probably down around the corner.
It might be.
Yeah, right.
We're kind of
about a half a mile from here.
A big loop. About a half a mile from here.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is
awesome. If it came like a minute later, it was really half a mile from here. I'm sorry, I'm making you lose your train of thought, which is what brought up that reference. Thought. That's what brought up the reference.
It might. Now I'm anxious to see if it comes through, but I don't know that it will. It's not like, there's a very good schedule. It just kind of comes when it comes. But
hopefully the engineer isn't high on cocaine, because then he better watch his speed.
Okay.
I'm full of them. I'm full of it today.
You're full of it.
Casey Jones, you better watch. That's a Woodstock classic right there.
Woodstock.
Yeah, baby.
That would have been a fun thing to be at.
I'm glad you're not PMSing right now, because you would be very angry at me for trying to derail your train here,
So you know what wouldn't happen actually, though, because now I understand this. I wouldn't be angry with you.
You're 3 weeks postpartum, which is
3
miraculous.
Months.
I lost your video.
I'm here. Sorry. Okay. I'm 3 months postpartum.
Yes. 3 months. Okay. Same difference.
Not in terms of craziness.
No,
Not at all.
I kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got 4 as well, so you've been through the
Boy, have I.
postpartum
Yeah.
roller coaster.
Okay. I didn't want to derail you. Finish talking about what you were discussing with us, if you haven't
Okay.
lost your train of thought, and then we could talk about the unique quandary of pregnancy itself when you're a guy trying
Oh
to
God.
navigate that. Because I would love you to tell
Yeah.
these guys about that too.
I
So
would happily talk about that.
you have fall, winter, spring, summer. Um, I think we're pretty clear on what that looks like for most women. Is
Yeah.
this is this the kind of thing where if a woman, for example, my wife, um, would say, "Oh, I don't even PMS. I don't even know what
Mm.
PMS is." Is she fronting? I mean, it's just she does it differently, or it's a little more subtle, or can this come in extremes, woman by woman? You have already said women are individuals, but I'd like you to comment on that.
Yeah. So this is what I'll say. The more in tune a woman is with her own cycle, the better she'll navigate it. So she may say, I don't really PMS, because PMS is premenstrual syndrome. It's when women are really struggling during that fall
Yes.
as they
Okay.
go into winter and have their bleeds. So like someone who's PMSing would be someone who potentially their hormones are out of whack. And so when they start to decline, maybe they just dip. Maybe it's like not a slow decline, but it's just instant. So they wake up the next day and everything's tanked and they feel crazy and everything upsets them. They're going to cry at anything that's even remotely sad. They're going to blow up about anything that's even remotely triggering to them. But then someone who's like more in tune with it, maybe a little bit more hormonally healthy, it'll be a little bit more gradual and easier for them. So yeah, if she says she's not really PMSing, just thank the gods and
Okay.
and enjoy that. But I do want to go back to, I remembered what I was talking about. What a man can do instead. And this is the number one mistake they make
Yes.
versus handling it correctly. So the number one mistake is taking it personally. Like, why are you picking on me? Why are you so emotional? Why can't you be logical? Getting really upset and offended.
Why can't you act like a man?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Hello.
Mm.
It's like, well, I'm a womb man. I am a man, but I'm a man with a womb. So things are a little different. The the best thing that you can do, if you can think about this, if you can really think about this as if you're the king and she's your queen and you have an empire, and that empire, that's your household, that's your podcast, that's the people in your life, that's all your bills, everything like that. This is your kingdom. She's your queen. What's beautiful about this is that in the fall, when she's the wild woman, that actually serves a purpose. She's not just crazy for nothing. There's a point to it. She's not crazy. She's paying attention. She's alert. So she's able to, instead of suppressing things that are annoying, she sees them very clearly. And in her winter, when all the hormones go offline, it's like, imagine, I've heard older men talk about this. I don't know, older men, that's just who I've heard talk about it. But
They're
like when you're
wiser. They've been
younger,
there already. Yeah.
wiser, yeah. Like when they were younger, their sex drive was so strong that they just did so many dumb things. That as they got older, it was nice that it kind of chilled out a little bit because they could actually get something done. That's like how wintertime is for a woman. All the sex hormones kick off. And so you're not thinking about reproduction and you're not thinking about that stuff. So you can listen. So if your queen goes into her fall and her winter, imagine that you're like at court when she's telling you all the things that aren't going great. She's saying, that friend of yours, he's a piece of shit. Get him out of here. And you're like, he's been my best friend for 10 years or whatever like that. If you can think of her as your queen who's saying, that man does not have your highest good in mind. And think about it. That man, there's something off about him. Or if she says, you work too much and you're not getting paid enough. And you might hear that as like a complaint of like, oh, she wants more money or whatever. If you can see through that to your queen advising you of your own worth and your own value, that you don't have to sacrifice like this, that you deserve to have decent hours and super high pay because you're her king and she doesn't like to see you being taken advantage of, and she misses you.
A little shot of truth serum there in the fall.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
the truth. It's the truth, but it's unfiltered because she's a little wild. She's a little crazy. So it might come out. And if you can slow down and not react and be like, she's criticizing me, she's being really cranky, I'm not going to get laid tonight. First of all, you can get laid tonight if you handle this correctly and you see like there's actual power in all of this authenticity of hers. If I can listen and not be reactive, which is, I'm not saying that's easy when you have like a 5 foot something or a 4 foot something screaming at you, to like calmly be like, oh, this is good. This is good information.
Who are the 5
from her.
foot something, 4 foot something? Is that your wife?
Your wife, your woman.
Oh, you like tiny women.
I'm a 5 foot something. 5'8".
Well, most women are.
I'm 5'8". Well, my mom's I think my mom's. I've got some shorter women in my family and some taller women. So that's why I said a 5 foot something and then a 4 foot something. I don't want to discriminate.
No.
To my shorter
It's funny
sisters.
because my daughter is a 4 foot something because my wife is 5'1", and her best friend's father is 6'9".
Whoa.
So this little girl
6'9"?
this little girl is literally twice the size of my daughter, and they're like BFFs. It's so strange. It's so strange to watch them hang out together, you know. But
that is weird with adolescents. Because my son's 6'3" and he's 14, and his friends are like really small. And it looks like a big brother and a little brother, and they're like the same age. Like,
my son's 5'10". Nobody knows what happened to him because he's got chaparritos for parents, and so he just caught the tall gene, I guess, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Not like my daughter's friend's husband, but or dad. Excuse me. It's not like that tall in their family. Yeah, but 6'9" is. I wouldn't want to be 6'9". That's
almost like hard to be in the airplanes or the back seats of a car,
or the front seat of a car when you're 6'9".
Or just a bed. Have your legs off the bed.
It's awful. Yeah.
There's a limit to tall.
Yeah. Once again, enough about me. All right. So, what is the women work different framework, Ada?
Okay. So, for your listeners tuning in,
okay, you're soft pedaling this one. I feel like you're trying to find the right words so you don't offend the hell out of us. So, let the fur fly. We're unoffendable. Go for it.
Well, I think that in general, with feminism and all the other isms that have happened, there's this idea that we're all the same. Anything you can do, I can do better. And there's all this equality. And
well, equality is not sameness on this show.
Okay.
Well,
so
let me give you a little background briefly.
Yes.
We do not believe masculinity and femininity are female constructs. We believe masculine energy is male, feminine energy is female. If I have a feminine side, she's a lesbian. I'll tell you that straight up. I'm also straight. I make arrows jealous. Okay. I mean, I'm an LGBTQIA advocate, but I don't understand. I don't understand it. I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
But, I also have what's weirdly, because to me it just seems like it's commonsensical, natural, obvious. I believe masculinity and femininity are the building blocks and indeed the catalyst of sexual attraction. Because if we weren't hot for each other, we wouldn't make babies because, as you know as well as I do, they're a pain in the ass,
They're so hard.
Oh my God! Why do we love them? Then they make them cute and look like you, so you don't kill them. This is all filed under God's dirty little trick with me. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. We believe in masculinity and femininity. 100% of the guys listening to this are about being the most masculine man they can be. We also believe masculinity is inherently virtuous, providing, protecting, having the best interest of those who he's trying to provide and protect for, in mind, rather than being this toxic masculinity perversion. But the trick that you're alluding to is brainwashing men into think any masculinity and all masculinity has got to be toxic, do better without getting them anything to replace it with, just be neuter. And then meanwhile, the feminists hijack the virtuous masculinity thinking that's going to work out better for themselves.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. So now we're on the same page. Continue.
Okay. Same page. So
is that the train?
It's the train.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it was like a half an hour from here, not like a half mile from here. Wow,
It didn't
so
know they
close,
didn't know the
so
song.
close. Oh, I know, man. We were like literally 10 minutes off.
Probably someone in their
It would have been
20s driving that
perfect.
train
Yeah, right.
didn't
Yeah,
doesn't know
high
the
on cocaine.
reference.
Yeah, that's right.
Cooking. The problem, maybe.
They stopped. They lived in an
I
alternate
mean, why
universe for a
wouldn't
while.
you? You're just
Actually, I
driving a
I
train
have a
on
customer
tracks.
who was a train engineer for years, and it seems so cool.
Oh, I
He,
I mean, yeah.
he said it was cool
Yeah.
for about a month.
Oh,
Then
really?
then it was just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh, ain't that the
Predictably, I
truth
mean,
of
literally, you
everything,
can't
though?
even like take a rest stop. You can't even go
Yeah.
to Bucky's because you're
Right.
on a train. You're on
That's
you're
right.
on
You're
track.
driving.
I was like,
Yeah.
God, I never even thought of that. But
Oh man,
being
I
a
think it
little
would be
kid
so
playing with
cool.
HO trains and building model railroads, I was like, that would be the
Yeah.
ultimate. But it isn't. No,
Hmm.
he got out of it. Now he does something completely different. Retired from it.
Oh,
Isn't
well,
that crazy? But enough about
now
the
we know.
train.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
So
was I saying?
women work differently.
Oh,
There's a
wait. Thank
framework.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Yes. So the problem is there's so much programming. Even all of us who think that, who understand inherently, like, no, this isn't adding up. Like, it's good to have men and women be a little different. And
Of
so
course.
the problem is there's still so much programming that women, if you look even at like a tampon commercial, these are women who are supposedly like menstruating on their bleed. It's just put in a tampon and go play tennis. Put in a tampon and go ride a horse. Because there's an expectation that you should also be just like a man, the same every day. Because men are the same every day. Like you were talking about, that inherent virtue, that providership, that strength that you can't take a week off every month as a man and continue to be that safety and that provider. That's not how you need to wake up every day with a good charge on you so you can go, cut the firewood and or whatever and do all the
As long as I
things.
stay on my testosterone replacement, I'll have a good charge on every morning.
Just get that charge, right? So that's, as a man, very different.
They'll charge
But
me for it, but I'll have that charge
they'll
on.
charge you for the charge for a charge. So, but we still, especially younger generations, have an expectation that women are going to be like a man, especially like in the workplace. There's an expectation
Oh, heck
that
yeah.
women work that 9 to 5, which works really well as a man. But as a woman, it doesn't work because whether you're in your winter or your spring, you're supposed to show up and do the job. And so what Women Work Different is about is learning and understanding and rewriting that in your own mind of like, especially if any of you listeners are in the workplace with women around you, which you probably are, understanding that you just inherently expect her to be like you. It's not on purpose. You just
That's the
expect her.
programming, though.
That's the programming. And
Yeah.
she's got a similar job to yours. So she needs to show up and do it every day. And it's not. Women don't work that way. And in fact, what happens a lot of times, it happened to me. That's one of the reasons I went on this journey to understand this. Women burn themselves out. We're seeing lots of infertility. We're seeing lots of low libido. We're seeing all those things. A big part of that is because women are supposed to rest a lot more than we think. And especially when they're in their winter. Like this is the advice that I give to women. If you're in a 9 to 5 or in some sort of high executive role and you're expected every day to show up and be the same, you have to carve out places where you can rest. If that means on your lunch, you don't take a lunch meeting, you instead go to your car and sleep. Or you skip the gym that morning and you sleep in a little bit, or you go to bed a little bit earlier. Whatever you need to do, you have to have more rest. You absolutely have to have more rest. And for men, understanding, like, I've heard sometimes men like kind of saying, oh, my partner's so lazy. She's like lazy. Well,
wait till they have kids, then they'll redirect that statement towards the teenagers. Yeah.
yeah, we've got a teenager
You have your
ourselves.
entire old age to lay around.
I
You're
know.
12, you're 16. Go out,
Do
be
something.
active, have an adventure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do something. So, anyways, yeah, that's what Women Work Different. It's about educating people to rewrite that that incorrect programming.
Well, you know what? What's happened also is we've been trained not to like the differences.
Right.
And then we get sort of weirdly bigoted against the gender we're trying to attract,
Right.
thinking that there's something wrong with them and they're all terrible. And usually this is rooted in failure, frustration, and bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
So you have feminists who have been hurt by men, and you have these men going their own way, hashtag MGTOW guys, who think everything's women's fault and they're just awful human
Right.
beings. And yet we still stay obsessed at talking to the about the other gender,
Right.
because naturally, the law of nature is we're attracted. We want
Mm-hmm.
this approval. We want the attraction from the other gender. And when we fail at it and we don't get it, we get bitter and our claws come out.
Mm-hmm.
Or when they
Mm-hmm.
hurt us when we were trying to be nice, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Not like Mr. Nice Guy, but trying to be decent. And what we get is, just pounded for our efforts.
Right.
The danger, just like in any other form of bigotry, especially at the systemic level, is we start thinking they're all the same because they're different. And when
Right.
we don't understand someone, we fear them. And when we fear them, we hate them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I like to focus on how men and women are still human. If you win the
Mm-hmm.
lottery and I win the lottery, we'll be ecstatic together. If your dog runs away and so does mine, we'll be upset together.
Mm-hmm.
We're all still human, but it's that dance of masculinity and femininity that, see, if we deny that exists, and it's all a social construct, and masculinity is designed to keep women down because it's toxic, that fairy tale keeps us from recognizing the reason why men and women seem different from each other. And it also, if we fail to recognize that, as crass as it sounds, it reduces sexuality to body parts rubbing together. And that offends every woman I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like we run in this vicious cycle of not making any sense when it comes to evaluating masculinity and femininity and the quality of the differences between men and women versus the problems there. To me, men providing, protecting, for some reason, sick puppies as we are, we love being the hero. We love putting ourselves in harm's way. We love, that risk. We're really crazy, and, we don't live as long as women, on average, probably because of that. Meanwhile, women do love having fun and being playful and bringing the party and joy and fun. I always tell guys, dudes, why are you trying to make her be a man? Why do
Yeah.
you need her to go to the Knicks game with you?
Right.
Why do you need her to watch, American Sniper with you? Well, there's a lot of women who love that movie. A lot of women don't. But why are you making her watch war movies with you and like superhero movies? She's a chick. She wants to go shoe shopping. She wants to go to the mall. You can't stand the mall. She wants to drive, a white SUV with tan leather interior, and you want a, 3/4 ton pickup truck with a diesel engine. There's nothing wrong with her because she's different, right? What happens is, though, we're denying our own nature as men and women when we're scoffing at the difference there. Because we as men have a hard time having fun. We have a hard time shutting down. I joked previously, and I would still joke again, I'm not sorry I did, about how, our fall, we really do fall down because we drank too much in the afternoon and, tied one on. And in the winter, we hibernate like bears because we passed out. There's a little truth to all comedy. But men have a hard time having fun, and women are there to recharge our batteries so we can go out and fight some more, protecting and providing. And that's hot. It's sexy. And the women and men who understand that and do that for each other have the hottest, horniest sex ever. Because that's how we're designed. And that's how we all probably got 4 babies apiece around here.
I know. So you were saying like men love to be the hero?
Yeah, we do.
I love a hero. My husband, I love the whole dynamic is actually really beautiful. The problem is when we expect each other to be like us. So that's because we think things would be so much
sameness
easier
instead of equality. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that way. And so your woman, your womb man, she's got your womb for the two of you. That's her job. Her job is creative. Her job is to create. You give her ingredients, she makes you a cake. You give her a house, she makes you a home. You give her your seed, she makes you a little carbon copy. Like
awesome.
That's that's what your womb man does for you. And in return, you honor the fact that she works differently. She needs more rest. She needs protected. Sometimes she needs for her king to be like, babe, go take a nap. I will handle this. Because she literally is just exhausted a lot of times.
See, already just, it was automatic. I respond extremely well to the word babe. That's what, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what my wife, I said to my wife when we were dating, she was so cute. She says, is there anything that you really love or that you like when women do that you see me do that you want me to do more? I was like, God, that's such an awesome question. I love this chick. I said, yeah, I love it when you call me baby. I just love to be called baby. And so she does. She calls me baby all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm a grown ass man, but it's just such a feminine thing to do.
Well, right? And she's your woman.
Right.
So who gets to call you that?
She does.
Just her.
You know, it's funny because I get a lot of guys who are a little bitter and angry with the feminism thing, and they get real they get spooled up. They're not just bristly about it. You use that word, bristly, prickly. They get all spooled up when they feel like men are just acting like simps is the word they use. You know, you're just being supplicative and you're giving this woman everything on a silver platter and castrating yourself and giving away your power and your manhood. And she's just using you. She's going to divorce you and take everything. And, you know, probably, you know, you'll never see your kids again, blah, blah, blah. So one time, one of these guys took issue with calling a woman your queen. And it was very easy to kind of quash that whole argument because I said, well, if she's the queen, what does that make me? Oh, snap. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, yeah, well, you would be the king. It's like, I can handle that.
Yeah, you're on a throne. I mean? She's next to you. What are you guys doing on the throne when nobody's in the hall? You know, like this is a beautiful imagery. This is wonderful. You want a queen because you have a kingdom. If you have a kingdom, you need a queen.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you just 3 months ago, you have a 3-month-old baby girl. Okay. Don't ever call your daughter princess because she'll take it seriously. Then that's where the analogy kind of comes to a grinding halt. It's like, oh boy, yeah, I'm queen, she's king. But if she thinks she's princess, she's going to try to usurp both y'all's throne and take over.
It's her throne now.
Yeah. And it's funny because my daughter's first name is Sarah, which literally means that. And I think maybe if we would have thought that through better, we might not have gone there, but you know.
Okay, my daughter's name is Maeve, which means queen, so.
Well, there you go. You have a boy named Knave, which would go along with that? Okay. I could have one at least that could be named that. That's an underused word.
It is.
Well, this has been a great conversation. Lately, you've been talking about journaling. Do you want to give these guys a little insight on how you pivoted towards that and what might happen if they go to mountaintoppodcast.com/Gore. And by the way, /Gore is available because Al, you know, he wouldn't come on the show for some reason.
His loss.
Yeah.
So, yes, journaling. Very important if you're in the dating world because you need to dump all of the stuff that happened in your brain because of all your sex hormones and because of all the stuff going on in your life.
Okay.
If you're dating, it's so great to reflect. Or if you're in a relationship. Reflect on the interactions. Reflect on your woman. Think of what did she say exactly? Has she said this before? How did she respond to me during that date? You know, reanalyze it because when you're in the moment of things, I think journaling is the most powerful tool, period.
Women catalog their sexual experiences, don't they? I know they do. Maybe you didn't. But a lot of women will write down what happened every time they've had sex.
Oh, yeah.
Men don't do that.
I think
you would think the shoe would be on the other foot, but it isn't.
Huh.
Isn't that something?
But
I've heard that.
I think in general, potentially, men, in our culture at least, could take more self-reflective time. Like if you look at
1,000%.
Marcus Aurelius, like if you look at the Stoic movement, these were men who sat in contemplation and wrote things down.
Can we talk about that for a second? I know
Yes.
we've completely derailed what we were going to talk about. This is near and dear to your heart too, and this has never
Yes.
come up on this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll have you back and talk about this
Yeah.
in particular.
This is powerful.
I think the media age killed that impulse in men.
Hmm.
Because I think if you look at people from the Civil War era and even the early 20th century and people back in antiquity, they left a lot of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Famously, Leonardo da Vinci had pages and pages and pages. But
Mm-hmm.
even if you look at guys like John Milton and these guys who
Mm-hmm.
are considered, some of the greatest authors in the English language, it was
Mm-hmm.
all because they had ideas and wrote them down all the time. And then
Yes.
next thing you know, he's got a bunch of books.
Yes.
I think we spend so much time video gaming and being fed other people's ideas that
Mhm.
we don't sit down with our own anymore. And I
That's
think
right.
that's an archetypal feature of humanity that we're
Mm-hmm.
losing. And I think you've touched on an amazing point. What do you think it would take to get men to unplug, tune out, and tune into their own journaling? Another 60s reference. Without the LSD. Ha.
Without the
Okay.
LSD or with it. I mean, I'm not going to judge. But
Okay. Well,
I don't know what it would take. But I hope if it's if a guided journal seems like, my husband has this rigid impact drill that every time he uses it, he's like, God, I'm so glad I bought this tool. I remember when I bought this tool. Like, it's his favorite tool. He loves this impact drill.
yeah.
If you could start to see a journal as a tool, like one of the best tools that you have in your relationship and in your life,
That's a
and
little mind hack.
it doesn't have to be a guided journal, but I do have some guided journals that can be helpful. It can be a notebook. It can be the notes app in your phone. But in particular, if you're dealing with your relationship and you want your relationship to improve, you are 100% accountable and responsible for your own relationship. So do the research of yourself. Get all the files out and onto a page or onto your notes app and see what's really happening here. What patterns? Men are so smart and so powerful that if they take some time, they can figure out their woman. They
There's
can.
something happening here.
What
What it
it
is
is
ain't
ain't exactly
exactly
clear.
clear. Hopefully there's not a man with a gun over there.
Till you say, oh, I mean, probably, but
I
he's on
had
his
to find,
journey.
I had to do
He's
the
on his
comedic
journey.
recall thing and find at least one more 60s song.
I mean, I
I had
love
to.
that song, so that was a good one.
Buffalo
Yeah,
Springfield, right?
I would love for men to start journaling more, partly because I want the world to have access again to great minds, and men are not, I think, always living up to their potential because they're not taking that time to
Yeah.
study themselves, to study their woman, to study the greatest thing that you can do is figure yourself out. It's the greatest thing.
That's where it all comes full circle. Um, because, you understand your woman. You have to understand yourself too. If you don't understand yourself, then how are you supposed to
Yeah.
understand the people around you, especially the people
Yeah.
you love? How can you know how to provide and protect if you don't know what a woman's loves, hopes, dreams, fears are? And her cycle, we can add that to the
Yeah.
pile.
And her cycle.
But
Because it's already a big part of your life.
yeah, oh, absolutely, 1,000%. And if you don't sit alone with yourself, I mean, some people would call it meditation, but you're talking about actually writing it down because then you have a record of it, like a diary.
Yep. And you can burn it if it's scary for you to think of someone finding it. That's a big part of it. Burn it. I mean, literally, write all the truth down. I'm terrified of her. I'm afraid she's going to leave me. I love her so much. If you're, like some of that stuff is real in us, or like, what if I'm not enough? Or, those things, you don't want to say them out loud, and you definitely don't want someone to read them, maybe. But you have to get that out before you can get to the gem of whatever's in there that you
can
do
learn
have.
a lot about yourself in the process. It's a learning experience to write all this stuff down because then you get the thoughts, the thoughts form where they may have been nebulous before. I think that's fantastic. So again, when they go to mountaintoppodcast.com/Gore, where are you going to send these guys, Ada?
Amazon. I've got my journals on Amazon, so they can purchase them there. Or this can just be their call to pick up a notebook and start. But if you find that you would like a rigid impact drill tool, your favorite tool, a guided journal, a guided journal can be that. I mean, I'm glad he has it.
All right. So, you know what? We're actually recording this a little bit ahead of when it's going to actually be dropping on the scene. So, basically, we lost your video again. Oh, goodness. I hope she didn't completely lose her battery. Well, that might be what happened. Good timing, if nothing else. If anything, I can also tell you guys that mountaintoppodcast.com/Amazon will feature Ada's journals. And yeah, she dropped out. How about that? She tuned in, turned off, and dropped out. What I want to do then is end the show. When we were pretty much close to the end anyway. And what I want to do is let you guys know that if you haven't been to mountaintoppodcast.com recently, go there, check out all the show notes, check out all the pictures of our guests, download all kinds of goodies, including the book, Sticking Points Solved. And you can also check out our sponsors, longtime sponsors, all great folks, Jocko Willink's company, Origin in Maine, also the Keyport and the guys at Hero Soap. When you partake of anything from any of our 3 longtime sponsors, please use the coupon code Mountain10 to get you some in the form of an extra 10% off. All that and much more is there for you at Mountaintop Podcast as always. And until I talk to you again real soon, this is Scott McKay from X and Y Communications in San Antonio, Texas. Be good out there.